Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.
We're in Way Media. Welcome back to Midnight Viewing Anthologies Attack, where we look at anthologies of every variety and stripe, and sometimes they're not even anthologies at all. We just decide we're going to do something, and we fucking do it. And doing it with me, I'm Father Malone, everybody. With me doing it, back from his time in Hell's Kitchen, Mr. Antonio Llapur. How are you, Antonio?
Father Malone, how are you? Very fitting as we're talking about the world's most Catholic superhero here with the Padre.
Yeah. And you and I are both Catholic boys.
Oh, yeah, Catholic school and everything. I was an altar boy. That's actually one of my attachments to Daredevil growing up, was that he was Catholic. That kind of resonates. Folks, you got to understand, there's a certain thing to being raised in a the guilt thing is so there. And I feel like Frank Miller might be Catholic too, because like his run of comics really embraces that. And Daredevil's guilt is so heavy in those issues. Dude, Daredevil was my jam in high. I love Spidey. I'm a DC guy, Batman all the way. But in Marvel, my favorite character was always Daredevil. Spidey number 2, then probably the X. But I read a lot of Daredevil at 14, especially I'd go back and read the old Frank Miller one with the Punisher and stuff. Still the best Punisher is that old Frank Miller one, because it's the only time that Punisher was really just a bad guy.
My experience with Daredevil is almost exclusively limited to the Frank Miller run.
Yeah.
During the early 80s. And then Elektra Assassin.
Oh, yeah.
And Ronin. All right, listen.
Yeah.
I was a Frank Miller guy in the early 80s.
And I was one in the mid 80s. I was a little boy and I stumbled across the Dark Knight Returns in the bookstore. And my mom's $15 for a Batman comic book. And I had no idea what was in there, and my mind melted. And everything Frank Miller did, I was addicted to. If it had a little FM in the corner, I was there.
I'm just going to mention a striking image from Elektra Assassin that has haunted me since childhood, where Elektra has overwhelmed one of these goons, lieutenant, and she's got him like trussed up, and he's naked, and she's like riding him, basically. That fucked me up as a kid.
Well, yeah, and that's the Bill Sienkiewicz stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bill, so let's before we dive into it, because if the minute we get to anything Electro, I'm going to start talking about Bill Sienkiewicz and how much I love him. So let's
Let's
get
talk
that out.
Daredevil first.
Yeah.
Where'd he
Okay,
come
fine.
from?
Daredevil came from Marvel Comics in the early 60s by Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Wood, right? Was it Wally Wood? No,
No, not Bollywood.
not Wood.
Bill Everett?
Bill Everett. Thank you. Why did I?
I don't know. Do you know about the original Daredevil?
Is that the old? Yeah, he's like the red costume with like blue highlights, and it's like his whole face is red, and he was like a stunt man or something.
Yeah, he throws a boomerang and he's mute because he went mute when his father was killed in front of him, and then he was branded with a symbol that looks like a boomerang.
Okay.
He's from 1941. He didn't last very long. Yeah, and was slightly apparently an inspiration for the Daredevil that we know and love.
But our Daredevil, when with Jack Kirby designed that original suit, and then Everett drew the comic, and the original suit didn't look anything like that. The original suit was yellow and it with that brown thing in the middle, and it looked actually really good on She-Hulk.
Oh man, didn't it?
Yeah, like surprisingly well. The only thing wrong with the Daredevil costumes is they don't have the D's on them.
Now you're the second Daredevil fan I've talked to who has made that particular comment. And you know what? Rewatching the series and the original movie that's what we're all going to be talking about tonight. The lack of the DD now I zero in on, not because I miss it, but because I figure that they're letting fans down in a big way.
Yeah, I miss it. I'm a fan who's kind of let. I mean, it was fine up until the guy made the suit for it. Once the guy who can see makes the suit, then I feel like that guy would have added branding.
I don't mind him not getting it the first time because the suit came before the moniker, maybe. Like maybe it wasn't as wide by the end there. Okay, that's fine. But he's now had 6 iterations of the goddamn suit. At one point, someone's going to put DD on it because it's Daredevil.
I hated it the way it was on Affleck's suit, like in the corner, like it was a Star Trek uniform.
It's like an Izod shirt.
Just embrace it, man. It's okay.
You want it fully on the middle of the chest. It took forever to get Punisher to get the fucking skull on him in a proper way.
And I still don't think they have it on right now. Like, I think his current skull is just like way too big.
You know what I would like if they're going to ever revisit him past his involvement currently on Born Again? I'd like to see the pirate boots, white, the skin tight suit with the fucking skull on it. If they do, listen, I'm telling Marvel right now, if they're going to do a battle world, right? And
oh yeah, he should show up on that dress in that costume. Oh fuck
fucking A.
Yeah.
I need to see Frank Castle in the original costume. If we're going to do variants and we're going to do timelines, come on.
There's a way to do that. There's a way. It doesn't necessarily have to be spandexy or anything, but there's a way to do it. Why not?
Why not? Even the current thing. Look, he's built, Mr. Bernthal. Just put on the skin tightest shirt with a proper looking skull on it that somebody made for him, some skin tight pants, and look, throw me a bone and give him some white boots. They're the only thing available. They're like he's in a snowy environment or something. I don't know.
Remember that Mike Zeck comic? That's the best Punisher comic, was that Punisher miniseries. Oh man, that's the one I wanted to adapt into a movie. Like where it like starts with him in jail. Or it ends with him in jail. I just love the fact that Punisher just ends up in jail and he's with all these fucking criminals. And he was in jail before Rorschach was in jail too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's because the sequence in Watchmen is pretty much a similar sequence.
Very similar. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I didn't. No.
Although I remember they tried to pass off that you could take a Coke bottle and take the end off of it and put it on a gun. It could be a suppressor. That I can't remember that from that comic. But I remember he killed guys in the shower. Like it was like a naked, like he did that before
I remember.
Vigo. He did that before Vigo did.
Yeah, he did. The Punisher is
yeah.
Everyone hates the Punisher in the Marvel universe. Can we just point that out? No superheroes trust him at all. During Civil War, I remember like when the teams were finally all chosen and he walks in and nope, you leave.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the way he should always be treated, even by the fan base to it. I loved Punisher in the 80s. When I was a little boy and then into the 90s during that Punisher heyday, I loved those books, but as an adult, he's a horrifying character. And you've got to treat it like that. Like, I always feel like if I was going to make a Punisher movie, I treat it like a 70s movie, whereas it's morally ambiguous. He's clearly not a good fellow, and you shouldn't try to make him heroic in any kind of way. It's just the only kind of heroism he should even do is like rescue a little kid. That's okay. That's where the redeeming. He's got to rescue a child or something. But otherwise, he's a monster, and that's the whole point of the character. He's a villain.
Yeah, I think they do a pretty good job with the John Bernthal thing. I mean, he's way more heroic here, but maybe that's because John Bernthal's playing him.
Yeah. Well, when they added the crooked soldier, the crooked special forces guys, I think that made him. Then I was like, oh no, look, and just like him, just killing criminals indiscriminately works. But the performance is great. He's perfect as the Punisher. But I don't think any of the Punisher performances have actually been bad. Like, every guy who's played him has been pretty good. Even Dolph Lundgren, and I will go to the ends of time saying that I adored that Dolph Lundgren movie. Yeah, he looks stupid. He doesn't have the skull. But that opening scene with him, when the first time you see him and like the mobsters go celebrate the house and he just like murders them unceremoniously and then shows up in the door and the house blows up. Come on, that's great.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you the opening of that movie. That
Like
whole movie was shot in Australia.
Oh yeah, I did know that. I did know that. It's got Jerome Krabby in it though.
It does. He was on a
like,
run. He was just waiting for the fugitive.
That's right. He's just Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. Is he supposed to be Italian? I don't even know what's going on.
Fucking Dolph Lundgren with the super black hair, like
And
the absolute wash, and then the stenciled on beard.
That was I was gonna say that stenciled on beard, that just makeup beard is hilarious. And yeah, it's terrible, but like the murder in it, like the punishing is pretty damn good.
He does punish quite a, but could have worked the skull in more than just the knife head.
I feel like the Punisher, I don't want Tarantino to make it, but I want Tarantino to like it. That's the kind of movie, like, because his whole thing is 70s revenge movie. And I feel the Punisher would work best as like a hard-nosed 70s revenge.
Joe Carnahan.
Oh, yeah.
He had pitched a trilogy for Daredevil before Marvel went nuts. And there's a sizzle reel, actually. You can watch it on YouTube.
I've seen it.
Yeah, the first film was supposed to take place in the 70s, second in the 80s, the third in the 90s. So you were going to get that flavor with that. Maybe give Joe Carnahan a call, Marvel. But you know what? I don't know. They're doing pretty good right now, I think, with Why Muddy the Water.
Joe Carnahan, he did A-Team, right?
He did.
A-Team, one of the most underrated movies ever, man. That movie was actually surprisingly really good, and I'm annoyed they never made more. But anyways, back to
it is an insane finale. People forget that the scale of that fucking finale was crazy to choreograph, and that it looked in any way good is insane to me.
And the fact that movie works and plays is that you accept all the guys in these parts, everything is fine, and you like, okay, great, I want more, and it just didn't resonate. That's too bad.
It is, because I wanted to see John Hamm as the next villain. That's what we were promised at the end.
We were promised that at the end. It sucks. And we
all the agents are named Lynch.
Oh, that movie was pretty. Yeah, I might have to rewatch that. I really enjoyed that pick. It's definitely a better movie than that Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah, let's talk Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah. Well, can we start with Rex Smith?
Oh yeah, okay. This might be familiar to some of you listeners. HP from Noise Junkies and I, we picked the bones of this particular one, but I am now dying to hear your take on it, Antonio.
So this came out that Batman year, didn't it?
It did, 1989.
Yeah. So this was the only superhero entertainment that I had on videotape because I recorded it off NBC. So I watched it literally 1,000 times that summer.
Let me just speak to that for a moment. Prior to 1989, anyone listening who was not around then, there was nothing. We had Superman. We had some TV specials that were sad at best, to just pathetic.
And unavailable.
Right. And we had what was left over from the 60s with the Adam West TV series, a smattering of like older, even serials that were just anathema to our young modern minds.
Wonder Woman.
All right. The Wonder Woman series. And that's about it.
Yeah, you had Spidey, Hulk, and whatever that Captain America was with the motorcycle
Oof,
helmet.
all the late 70s TV movies,
Yeah.
all the aborted pilots.
But in the late 80s, they tried to resurrect Hulk, but they launched it with a Return of the Incredible Hulk was a TV movie, and it featured the weirdest Thor you ever saw in your life, but still a very good performance, but very weird. Like Thor and Don Blake were two different guys, and Thor just looked like a Viking, and that was successful enough to spawn a sequel, which was this, the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, when they introduced a black clad Daredevil to capitalize on.
No, I think they were attempting real world stuff. They were like, well, how would he actually dress here? And they couldn't afford that red suit and make it look good on
Yeah, I guess
budget on that movie. That movie was filmed in 1 month in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Zero budget.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. And everybody's overacting in it. And it's got the great John Rhys Davies as a guy that's supposed to be the king.
Could be Techno Kingpin,
His name is Wilson Fisk.
kind of.
He's chubby,
What
but like not big. And he's got a beard and hair and sunglasses, and he's English. But
He's crime boss. He's generic crime boss.
yeah,
He's script writer, glanced through the comics, Wilson Fisk.
yeah, it's pretty terrible. And Rex Smith as Daredevil is overacting the entire time. And
Oh, I disagree with you on that one.
no, he was
I
all right.
What I was surprised at HB as well, we were both surprised at how much we liked Rex Smith's performance as Matt Murdock.
Maybe I'll go back and watch it.
You should actually.
Yeah.
Because I had not seen it since 1989 and was dreading going back, knowing how much
Yeah.
I did not like it. And that was the revelation.
I just remember him going, "What do you want? Information." That's all I remember.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but he's right. He's right in the pocket there, though.
Yeah. So I remember his mask had a visor on.
No, it's super weird. The mask is just there's a piece of fabric sewn on to cover the eyes, but underneath it because it rolls down, it looks puffy as if there are goggles underneath there. But at a certain point, he just pulls it up and there's nothing under there, so it's just bulky and weird looking on its own.
Oh, okay. And I guess it was going to be a backdoor pilot for a Daredevil show. Yeah.
I mean, it ends with John Rhys Davies flying away in a boat.
Yeah, that's right. It says Fisk on. I guess he got it the same place Thanos got his helicopter. So, but that's not even the first attempt at getting Daredevil on. There was an attempt in the 70s. David Bowie's wife wanted to do a Black Widow and Daredevil TV show.
That's right. They even filmed, they took some publicity photographs.
Yeah, the Daredevil was just like, it was like a hood and he had like face paint. She looked like a 70s.
Yeah.
Hopefully the battle world gives an opportunity to unite that Marvel power couple.
Oh my God. Listen, Marvel, I'm serious. Now's your chance. The Flash, that movie, The Flash, was there a subtitle to that?
No, it was just The Flash. Sorry about this.
Oh, yeah. Basically, they fucked that possibility of combining all of those different Supermen or Batmen or all the different multiverse shit. It was so poor. Please, Marvel, Battle World, bring them all together. Every fucking iteration of a Marvel character I would like to see here. I want to see Nicholas Hammond's Spider-Man from the TV series.
So yeah, it's kind of annoying that he didn't pop up in that movie. They had all these guys in it, and they could have just at least had to having a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah, and it's not like he's not working. He was just in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Where is he in that?
He's the producer who's, I want to make you like a Angels biker.
That's right. That is Nicholas. Holy cow.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. And I loved that show.
Me too, man. They're still good. I still watch them sometimes.
It's okay, but it was Spider-Man. And when you're 6, it's still Spider-Man. How terrible it was, yeah. And that dude if you can find this guy on your Instagram reels or TikTok reels, and it's like a black dude, and he's
is he just shouting up?
And he's this week on Spider-Man. And he just does all this riff to like these clips from the old 70s show. And it might be the funniest thing ever. He does one for Star Trek. He does one for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
This dude is just one of the funniest comics, man, on your social media.
I will try and put his Insta in the comments or what the liner notes. What is it called? The description.
Right. But like that 70s Spider-Man, they could have done so much with it, but I guess they didn't. But I always thought that suit looked cool.
Fuck yeah, man. I
Yeah.
want that goddamn suit.
Yeah. I always liked the eyes and the way the mask went on his face and stuff. Like it looked cool. Like it was a mask. It's not like now that every Spider-Man, when he has it, like there's like a helmet in there. Like it's all done sleight of hand the way he takes his mask off. That was the 70s. That was his actual mask.
So, okay. Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah, so anyways, try all the Incredible Hulk. If you get to watch it, find it on Tubi or something. It's a curiosity. But the Daredevil from
It's on YouTube.
2000
It's
it's
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah,
Oh
there
yeah.
you go.
Good copy.
So, but Daredevil in 2002. So directed by, was that Steven Summers who did that?
Mark Steven Johnson.
What else did he do?
Simon Birch, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, When in Rome, Killing Season, Finding Steve McQueen, Love Guaranteed, and then Love in the Villa.
Stuff I haven't seen and some stuff that's widely.
As a writer, Grumpy Old Men, Grumpier Old Men, Big Bully, Simon Birch, Jack Frost.
I was going to, before we dive into this is the thought I had when it came out. And I have this thought to this. He was a better writer than he was a director. I think there is a good movie in that Daredevil.
Agreed.
It's not a good movie.
It is so early 2000s. It's painful.
It is the most 2002 thing that you can possibly. Everything about that movie just screams me going to the club on the weekend and partying. Everything. Bullseye's costume to the soundtrack to Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. Just everything about that movie is just there's nothing timeless about it. It's so dated. It's ridiculous.
There's nothing timeless. Exactly. That was the period when everything was leather.
Everything that like the Matrix dropped and everybody decided they were going to go to an SNL.
And what's funny, even before the Matrix had come out, I thought it was really innovative. I had become enamored of that television series Farscape, the Rockne S. O'Bannon written series produced by the Henson Company.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic television. A science fiction television show with actual aliens. Because it was Henson, they had a lot of their characters were basically just puppets, and you totally bought them as characters. The innovation there, as far as wardrobe was, everything in outer space was leather, and it was fucking. It seemed new and cool. And then the Matrix came out, and then it was like, okay, and now everything's leather. And then when Daredevil came out, I was like, give it a fucking rest. He looks ridiculous. It looks ill-fitting and weird.
Yeah, but the script is a good adaptation of that Frank Miller era. It's a very solid adaptation of it. I wish I would have directed it.
I tell you what, when I saw Matt Murdock clinging to the cross of a church, I thought, oh boy, we're in for something here. But, and I think you're right. I think that script's pretty good, actually. For early 2000s, we don't know what we're doing yet with superhero movies. Here's a superhero introduction movie. I do think the script is solid, except for everything they do with Elektra.
Well, the Elektra stuff in it, it just is misguided most of the way. She's so bland, and that's just from the writing to the casting to the costume design, just all bland. And that's too bad. Was like Sophie Marceau not available, or who else was an interesting European girl in the early 2000s? Monica Bellucci, was she not available? For God's sakes.
Wow. That would have been pretty good, actually.
Yeah, or even Catherine Zeta-Jones at that point was still maybe 30 years old. Like, I don't like.
There were lots of choices, but she was hot off of that television series.
Yeah, and I guess she was an actioneer off that show, but I have nothing against her, but she's so like bred in like just white bread. And there's nothing like Greek or Mediterranean or about her or anything sexy about her either. Like,
no, it's look, the fucking mating scene of the fight in the playground, which feels like a total reshoot, is so poor. It's just baffling to watch. It isn't romantic. It's just this isn't a meet cute. I think he thought he was being clever in having this. Well, they're getting to know each other fight.
And the funny thing is that movie shouldn't have been shot like the way it was shot. It was shot like very slick, very matrixy, like with the exception of one or two of those shots where they're just trying to copy what Joe Quesada was drawing. I don't know. I don't think there was too much of a Batman influence on it or whatever, but like that movie should have been the opposite of what Spider-Man was. Instead of sick, slick, and pretty, it should have just been down and gritty. And the show
That is,
does it so much better now.
that is not the Mark Steven Johnson way. Even his grit is shiny and bright.
Yeah, and it shouldn't have been at all. And just that music is just all every time I think of that movie, all I hear is
Wake me up
Evanescence.
inside.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just
It's all that new metal-y kind of early 2000s. What's on the radio, kids?
that's that movie is pretty much what's wrong with that song, right? There's a timeless song in with the most beautiful melody and the most beautiful woman singing the most beautiful song. And then this fucking guy with a trucker cap and Ed Hardy t-shirt comes in here and just shits on it with his rapping and his screaming and just like douchebaggery. And I feel like there's a good script in Daredevil, but then all of this douchebaggery, Ed Hardy, leathery shit comes in there. What is fucking Bullseye wearing?
You don't
It's
like
just
what Bullseye's wearing? That giant leather trench coat?
good lord. And it's just killing this amazing performance by Colin Farrell, who just steals the movie from everybody.
Look, like Mickey Rourke for me, Colin Farrell, I've been a fan since day one, man.
Me too, man.
When he showed up in this movie, I was so stoked. And then that his performance is beyond this movie. It's so much better than this movie. And oh, speaking of Battle World, y'all get this Bullseye in that because I love this Bullseye. He figured out what the movie needed to be when nobody else could in that flick.
Yeah, no, he's okay. It looks like we're gonna have some fun. I think that I can be naughty in it. And he went in there. He's just, I'm gonna try to fuck the audience with his performance. And even with that terrible makeup and like that shoe polish goatee that he's got going on, and that reject background extra Matrix costume that he's got, it's awful.
I will say a friend of mine and I, after seeing this movie, repeated a gesture of his to each other basically every time we saw each other for months, which is after he has killed Elektra's dad, he points at the kill, points to himself, and then points to the bullseye on his head. Doesn't say a word.
Yeah, the bullseye scar on his head.
I did too. I thought that was a great innovation.
That was it, and it has been adopted in the comics too. Like I've seen it in the comic books.
As it should be now.
Yeah.
That once you recognize something great, just fucking run
Yeah.
with it, you know?
So that was the one design choice in that movie. Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin is weird. Like his performance isn't bad, and I don't mind the casting of it. Other than he's just not fat.
And I just don't know what he wants. I don't know who Kingpin is in this movie. He's just a bad guy. He's just another obstacle for Daredevil.
And Kingpin's motivation is just he just wants everything, and they don't really even go into that.
No, ultimately, we don't really get a scene of Wilson Fisk being Wilson Fisk in the movie. He's just every scene is a plot motivation scene with him.
Yeah. And again, I don't mind the performance. I don't mind the casting. He's just not either. I know, but he as a larger, bald white guy, or I'm Latino, but I have very fair skin. I could play the Kingpin.
Yeah, hell yeah, you could.
And I feel like that's because he's like the one big dude in comics that like isn't a joke.
That's true. No one ever would accuse the Kingpin of not being able to fuck everybody up, man.
Yeah. The only guy who fucks with the Kingpin is Spider-Man. And that's just because he's Spider-Man.
Get away with it.
He can get away with it. Like I even have like old cartoons, even like, hey Tubby. But the Kingpin is a solid mass. And that was Frank Miller's innovation because he was just a fat guy that Spider-Man made fun of until he showed up in an R-rated comic for 1980, whatever it was. But
yeah,
and he's just there crushing dudes in his underwear, just like murdering guys with his bare hands. And you're like, oh, he's that kind of fat. Okay. Yeah, he's like King Kong Bundy.
there you go. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Imagine him.
Oh my God, can you?
That'd be a fun movie.
So yeah, you're right. I don't really know what he wants. I do love Michael Clark Duncan just as an actor. Always just loved every way he delivered the lines. So he delivered what he was given
Right.
well in this
That's
movie.
the thing. That's a good performance for an underwritten part.
Yeah.
Elektra is underwritten. Fucking Kingpin is underwritten. He overwrote Bullseye, and obviously Colin Farrell threw all that out. And what we're left with is Affleck is Matt Murdock, which is fine. It's a fine portrayal of it. I don't know.
But it's just like, why was that not Matt Damon?
Oh my God, it should have been Matt Damon, actually.
I remember me and my friends saying the exact when I came out. Ben Affleck should play Batman, not even back then. You're like, Batman's a big dude. He's more Superman. Like Daredevil is not huge. Daredevil is a dude. He just, and I felt that the everymanness of Matt Damon really played well with plus that hair color. Like he just looks it. He's an Irish guy. It's just
Yeah, the tint that they've given Ben Affleck's hair is ridiculous in this.
yeah. And he's so big and hulking. It's just, he's not built to do the stuff that Daredevil does.
And he would be instantly recognizable. I don't care if he is blind with that build and then shows up in the suit. You know what I mean? Like watching him walk into court, it's, well, who's that fucking? Oh, he's blind. Well, I guess he couldn't be Daredevil, but come on.
And that suit of his, like you said, it's leather and why is it a zip up jacket? There's all these weird things going on with that suit. But again, the writing isn't bad. The plot works. It could use another polish. That movie needed a better director. You know what I mean? It needed a nuanced action director. I don't know who would have been like John Woo or something. I don't know. Or, oh gosh, who was around then? Then a martial arts movie.
Joe Carnahan was around then.
Yeah, Joe Carnahan could have done it. Yeah.
He could have worked off of this script. I would have been happy with it. He would have said in the 70s, and that would have been even better.
Yeah. But there are things in there where it tries to be where he's sleeping in the
sensory
deprivation
deprivation.
tank. Yeah. I think that's interesting. The fact that he's eating pain and all of his stuff. Like there's something there. But
I also enjoyed Daredevil Vision, his sonar. Quibble here. At one point in his narration, he says, it gave me a kind of radar sense. It's sonar, dude. It's all based on sound.
Yeah, it is sonar. But what are you going to do? I've always felt my interpretation, it's neat looking. It's a cool after effects effect they do. My take on Daredevil's superpowers has always been like, he just knows where everything is. He can't see it. It just knows you're there.
Well, there's a moment in the subway where the guy is hiding behind one of the columns. His quarry is hiding behind one of the columns, and he keeps hitting his baton on a metal railing. And so when we cut to his vision, what we get is basically a blank screen, but a wave of sound radiating from the thing and then illuminating each column until you get a brief image of the guy in the thing. And I thought that's cool.
That is cool. That does make him even blinder, though. Even more, yeah.
So it makes his shenanigans a little even cooler.
But it doesn't. It still doesn't work. The whole thing as a whole doesn't work.
So I watched the director's cut.
Is that better? I see. I've heard it's better.
It is better, subtly better. Like during that opening fight scene in the bar, the strobe lit, too shaky cammed, during that sequence, the sound basically drops out almost altogether. And you just hear like whispers of fan blades and little things like that instead of just a pump and rockin' song over a kick-ass fight scene. That, as a directorial choice, made more sense to me and made me like Matt Murdock a little bit better. So there are little subtle things like that make it better. There's an entire subplot with Coolio, who they're defending. Foggy and Matt Murdock are not only defending, but like investigating during the course of the film his case. Did not need that. We were happy without it. But, other than a little bit more brutal, there isn't much difference. It's better than the theatrical version.
I've never seen it. I saw the theatrical version a couple times. That's enough for me.
Remember in the early 2000s when every superhero movie had a 10-minute credit sequence that was so fucking boring? Remember Spider-Man? It's just like, okay, a web, another web.
Yeah.
Webs, okay. And at some point, I'd like to watch the movie. Do that here with this super terrible CG New York cityscape where they have blacked out buildings, but some of the windows are lit, and then the lit windows become braille, and then the braille become the title. Come on.
Like they all just saw that Tim Burton Batman and they had to like,
We got to do an incredible credit sequence
yeah.
that lasts for an entire credit sequence. No, you don't need to do that. We can just jump
Yeah,
right in.
look, I on my first movie, Space Detective, I did that. And I'm like, I had an elaborate opening credit sequence, which was fun and all that stuff. And if I went back and recut it, I'd probably chop that out. Like the opening credit sequence isn't like a thing anymore. Although I do appreciate the overture idea, so like it can work, but
I think it all depends on if you have a good enough idea for a credit sequence. You need to justify your credit sequence.
yeah, I think so too. I liked it in my movie still because I just love that music, but I get it. And a couple things I've done since then, the shorts I haven't used. Title, where you go? It depends. I think opening credits can be considered the cover to the comic book.
I
But
love a great credit sequence.
but the openings of Spider-Man were both boring. Even that second one with all the like the Alex Ross artwork, it just kind of went on and on. You can cut them down and make them quick. I don't know. It depends. I don't like Marvel doesn't do the titles in the front of the movies anymore. The title of the movies are usually Marvel.
No, but you know what we did get at the start of this movie was the Whispering Pages Marvel promo.
Oh yeah.
Loved that.
That's the beginning of it, huh?
Oh man, just the hint of the comic book page.
Yeah.
Yes. And now it's just a thundering fanfare.
Yeah, it's a fan of all of their shit. But so the movie itself is, it's all right. It's an interesting take on Daredevil. The script would have been better and more in more suitable hands, but it is what it is. It was pretty evocative of all the superhero movies of that time period.
Glad it didn't get a sequel. Shocked it got a sequel.
Yeah, because it did that Electra, which I've still not seen to this day because it just looked terrible. I feel like it's a really bad take on Ninja Scroll, right? She has to face the different demons or whatever it is, and
Exactly what it is.
yeah.
People with tattoos of snakes coming off of their bodies and fighting Mortal Kombat style in forests that aren't particularly visually interesting.
And it's kind of all meh. Just
Yeah, it is what it was.
and why do they not want to give Electra her headband? Nobody wants to give her the headband.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? It's like her thing.
Like she looks hot in the headband. I don't get it.
Hey.
Size and a headband. That's all you need. Even in the new show, she don't have the fucking headband.
No.
And she's a much better Electra.
You know who they should have cast in the year 2002 to play Elektra?
Oh,
Salma Hayek.
oh,
She's half Lebanese, right?
she is mostly Lebanese, actually. Yeah. She's from Mexico, but her family is from Lebanon. Like my family, I'm Cuban, but my family is from Lebanon and Syria, from that area, from Mount Lebanon. So it's like kind of in between the two countries. So yeah, like
I would believe her as Elektra.
yeah, I would have. And I would have loved to have seen her as a
And
Electra.
va 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 voom in the outfit.
Oh my God. I could steal that outfit off.
I'm gonna generate some AI later.
Oh, how unethical in so many ways. Oh man.
Okay, that leaves a long gap. Mercy.
Yeah, we had some animated anywhere. Oh, I guess on the old Spider-Man cartoon, he showed up. From
Yeah,
the
he showed up on
90s.
the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
And his amazing friends. He was his lawyer there. And then in 90s Fox 5 or wait, Fox Kids Afternoon or whatever, that one with the Joe Perry song.
Right. Yeah, and he's expertly drawn there. He's really
Yes.
beautifully drawn, actually, in the 90s one with the super highlights and
Yeah,
shadows.
all those shadows. Yeah.
Oh my God. I went back and watched some of these Marvel's 90s animated fare, and I'm knocked out by some of the design on it, honestly.
The Fantastic Four show was actually, I remember really liking that. The Iron Man show sucked, but the Fantastic Four one was pretty good.
Is that the one from the 70s? The 60s?
No, the one from the 90s.
Oh, the
was-
90s.
Yeah.
I'm unaware.
It had the theme song, which is like, just call the Four, Fantastic Four, do, 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 do. The one from the 60s is pretty good too. The one from the 70s is trash. The one with the fucking robot. Oh, that's awful.
Herbie.
Herbie. Oh, God. I like the robot, but that show was terrible.
Not great when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Those who oppose the shield must yield. Yeah. I remember they had their like generic Hitler on that cartoon that was like Hitler, but they wouldn't call him a Nazi.
Well,
Kind
it's all Hydra,
kind-
baby.
Kind of like today.
Right?
So I think, I don't know if we've had this debate before, but I always kind of feel that Marvel hurt society a lot by not emphasizing that the Red Skull was a Nazi. I feel like dismissing him as just a Hydra dude
I
pretty
agree.
quickly.
I agree with you, but I think it's more in keeping with that character that he would form his own Reich. I mean, maybe he could have called it the Fourth Reich
Yeah.
and continued with the Nazi imagery to do what you're saying. Yes, but I don't think Captain America's impact is that strong on American culture. I think the current rise of fascism has a much greater antecedents.
I also think that Steven Spielberg going, no more Nazi villains in movies because I only make serious World War II films now. That was also a mistake. I think Nazis as bad guys in movies should have never been.
I agree. Watch season 2 of Millennium. The Nazis come back in that, and as one of the underground players on the global scale, and they are dealt with effectively, wonderfully. Actually, it's a two-parter.
See,
Allen Boosters is what the episodes are called.
My favorite Captain America comics when I was a kid was anytime that he was in World War II fighting the Nazi threat. That was always my favorite. Like that Captain America origin that came out in the early 90s. I think Kevin McGuire is my favorite comics. But anyways, we're getting off track talking about.
Well, we are talking about the MCU, and now let's talk about the MCU's version of Daredevil because we finally got it in the television series. All of the street level heroes minus Spider-Man were relegated to the Marvel television ghetto under Ike Perlmutter's purview.
And it's a miracle that those shows came out, for the most part, were pretty good.
I think, yeah, the initial seasons of Daredevil and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, I think those were all well considered. And then I think at a certain point, Ike Perlmutter was in such competition with Kevin Feige that he was like, I want an Avengers now.
I feel that the biggest drop off was the Jessica Jones because that first season was just incredible. And then the second season,
At all.
I thought the Iron Fist was just awful all the way through. The Luke Cage, I think, was consistent, but Daredevil, I thought, was the one that was consistently good throughout. I wasn't wild about the Punisher. So it was okay.
The Punisher on his own series.
Yeah, on his own.
Yeah, because the Punisher season of Daredevil was fucking phenomenal. Season 2.
Yeah. All of Daredevil was great. I thought, and I liked the Defenders. I thought it was.
I myself did not.
No, that's all right.
I checked out about halfway through, I think. It just didn't feel like there were any stakes, honestly. And the stakes felt weird and silly, and I hated Iron Fist.
Yeah, I hate Iron Fist too. Like, why
Danny Rand can piss up a rope, man.
Yeah, just recast that guy.
Yeah, give us somebody else. Give us White Tiger,
who's on this season of. But the Daredevil show, I thought was consistently good its entire run. I enjoyed that entire run of Daredevil, even the way it ended. I loved Elektra. I loved Punisher. Okay, Elektra didn't have the headband.
No,
but Elodie Young.
Yeah, Elodie Young, beautiful name, beautiful woman. I did not understand most of her dialogue, honestly. I swear, I subtitled it.
Fair enough. I thought she was fine as Elektra.
But she was just fine as Elektra, and Elektra's more than fine. Elektra,
yeah, that's true.
She should be a goddess.
They don't mind pay enough mind, I think.
No, it just felt kind of rushed. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Elektra should thread throughout his life. She should be. It's his Catwoman.
Yeah, that is true. She needs to be coming in and out of his life constantly. She should show up on this show too.
Totally.
But that being said, for the most part, everything about the Daredevil show, I really love. Probably my favorite stuff that Marvel's done outside of those Avenger movies, which are all pretty good, and the Spider-Man. That Daredevil show, fucking so.
Yeah, here's one thing you should learn if you find yourself suddenly in the Daredevil universe: stay out of hallways.
If there's room for a dolly shot, you need to get out of the way.
You got to fucking run. Stairwells, same deal. Do not.
If they can get a Steadicam or a Ronin in there, you're screwed, man.
You need to take an elevator to a tiny room that leads to the outside because if you're in a hallway, you're going to get caught in a melee.
That fight scene with him in the black suit when he's first starting out, I really like that black suit because it's what Miller and Romita did and Man Without Fear, the official origin, which is a comic too. I liked it. It worked, and then he finally gets the Daredevil suit. My only complaint on the show is that Daredevil generally doesn't show up until later in the seasons, and I feel like these shows all really could learn a thing or two from the comics they're adapting. You get 12 episodes of a TV show would be the optimum, 12 or 13, right? We can get 12 issues in an annual. You get two or three storylines, an overarching storyline, and bottleneck issues, all of those. And they really can learn to do that on these TV shows, and they don't. They're like, here's 12 episodes. We have to have a 12 episode arc. No, you can have 2 episode arcs. You can have multiple little arcs, and then have a big one.
Yeah, in a couple of episodes, you could say, "Hey, what's going on with the such and such case?"
Yeah.
Oh, blah blah blah. We're working on it. Okay, back to what we're doing right now. Yeah. The idea in a lot of people, because streaming was still kind of a new thing, uh, as far as trying to plot out a series arcs, everyone started saying it's a 12-hour movie. No, it isn't. It's not you're not giving us a 3 act structure with everything building up to that fucking ending. You're stringing us. You have one story you've created several subplots for, and not all of them pay off. My problem with the Daredevil series, my problem with the Marvel series overall, is that they all should have been 8 episodes. I think they were following the 12 issue and also 12 episode BBC model, figuring that's perfect, right? 4 episodes, 3 acts, sure. But there wasn't enough story to sustain it.
No, and but they do the structure of the comic book, but they don't pay attention to the way the comic books go through the year. If I'm reading a Daredevil comic, for example, for a year, he's going to have 3 storylines in that they do. There's going to be a 4 issue arc where he's fighting the Owl, and there's going to be a 2-parter where he's got a deal with Typhoid Mary coming out, and then there's 6 issues of the Kingpin and Elektra, or something like it. And then in the annual, you get like a flashback. You could do that kind of in a TV show, and they don't seem to ever kind of do that. They want to give you a 12-hour movie, or they want to give you 12 bottlenecks. They're going to mix it up, man.
Well, at least my prayers have been answered. We've got 2 seasons now, 8 episodes each. This first season here, this first season of Born Again actually has 9, but I'm basically considering the first episode 2 hours.
Yeah, and that first episode was outstanding.
Okay, before we get going, folks, we're now talking season 4, technically, of Daredevil Born Again, currently playing. The first 2 episodes have been released. Antonio and I have watched them, and I think we're going to be spoiling some things.
Yeah.
In the first episode, it's kind of impossible not to spoil.
Yeah, the stakes,
it floored.
the status quo changes in the first 10 minutes. But before we get in there, John Bernthal, that season of The Punisher was really good too, because he had the equivalent in the jail fight too. We talking about the jail? Yeah. Oh, God.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And that was unexpected. You're right. That was the best part of that season, honestly.
Yeah. And you had Bullseye on the show. You got the greatest hits of Daredevil up until a point on that original show, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. But what Marvel put out this week makes that show look like a piece of junk.
It does.
This is that first episode was like one of the best adaptations of a superhero thing I've ever watched. It was so good. Like, it was the right level of operatic and the right level of street level. It was like the right level of handheld. And so, like, you still got him doing all the cool, look at him swinging around on a rope and shit. But it still was substantially grounded. It wasn't overly shiny. And unlike a lot of the other Marvel stuff, it was really stylized. Like, it looked like something. It had really nice cinematography. It was pretty. And Marvel movies, one thing they all kind of disappoint me on is they all kind of have a very standard look to them. They all have the same kind of color grade. They all have kind of a same visual style. They don't, outside of the James Gunn stuff, who does this kind of seems to have fun. Everything else is pretty straightforward. And Daredevil, we're gonna make a little bit more like we've seen a Martin Scorsese movie.
Well, and James Gunn can get away with it because it's cosmic.
Yeah, he's in outer space, and so, I guess putting it on the street.
Here's a ridiculous outfit that makes no fucking sense, and here it is.
But this is nice, like but like James Gunn lights, you know what I mean? And I feel like everything is kind of flatly lit.
In the rest of the Marvel flicks.
Yeah. And this was moody and really well lit, and there was reds
and everything was covered in fog, and I
loved it. Yes, like I said, they've seen a Martin Scorsese movie, that Taxi Driver. That was clearly the guy who directed the guys who directed the pilot. I guess this guy's directed the whole show.
Yeah.
And their DP really paid attention to Taxi Driver and Mean Streets a little bit, especially Taxi Driver with all that steam coming out of the. Yeah, it's very pretty. And just the shot of seeing Daredevil swinging. I still haven't seen Batman swing in 100 fucking Batman movies. And there he is. He's
That's right.
swinging
He's
around.
always just being towed up.
Yeah. And there he was swinging. And I thought that was really cool. And being Daredevil, doing and just quite the right level of it, because it was too much in that movie in the Ben Affleck movie.
Too much Daredevil?
No, it was too almost cartoony the way he was kind of.
Oh yeah, it's fantastically cartoony. In a set that on the rewatch, I could tell that they had built out to give space for people to flip around and have big scenes in instead of like a bar.
But Daredevil, the way went, okay, so turn it off if you haven't watched it yet, okay? Because we gotta talk.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to even talk about the first scene.
No, and here's the thing. In the run up to this show, we've been hearing chatter forever, right? So those original Netflix series, once it became clear that Marvel was going to just take back everything that they could, Netflix canceled the series. But there was an agreement in place that they couldn't use the characters or do anything with the characters for any number of years. And obviously, the first year that they were able to, that's when No Way Home came out and Matt Murdock showed up as Peter Parker's lawyer in that film. Yeah. So now they've been introduced into the MCU, but now they've been talking about doing Born Again forever and ever. And now I've forgotten my point, Antonio. What were you?
Well, Born Again is also the title of a comic too. Daredevil Born Again by Frank Miller and the great David. Right, am I saying
he's an 80s guy.
He did 2 comic books.
He's a high school hero.
He did 2 comic books. He did this one and maybe the best Batman comic. Batman Year One, certainly one of the best, certainly the best drawn Batman.
I'll agree with that.
If you've never read Batman,
aside of Batman the Cult.
Bernie writes it. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Killing Joke. Brian Bowen did. But yeah, the Killing Joke it's number 2. Very close number. Man, Year One, Mazzucchelli. I hope I'm saying it right. It's the most gorgeous Batman. It's fine art, man. It is just so beautifully drawn. And you can see the beginnings of that in Born Again with Daredevil. And I had that crate had the best cover of him jumping through the stained glass window with his mom, the nun. Oh, his mom is a nun. Like, how Catholic can you get like that? Like, my mom would have been a nun had I not, after my dad passed. I think my mom would have become a nun had I not been around. So, like, it was... Yeah, I felt a lot very close to it. But the Mazzucchelli art is gorgeous. His Batman looks like Gregory Peck. It's beautiful. The animated Batman Year One is still my favorite animated Batman movie. It might be my favorite Batman movie. I don't know. It's pretty perfect.
Okay, I've remembered. All right, so long run up to this new Daredevil series, right? And now we've heard about all the casting, and we kept hearing about Karen Wall. Is it Karen? Fuck. I don't want to say her name wrong because I know it's Karen Page.
Right. Who had an awful fate in the comics. Thank you, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith gave her AIDS.
We kept hearing from Deborah Ann Woll that she was not being asked back for the series, right? And then a similar confirmation from Eldon Henson, who plays Foggy Nelson. So to hear kind of last second when the trailer started dropping that they're going to be in the series, I was stoked because I like those characters a great deal. I like these actors playing them, and I want to see more of them in the MCU. So that brings us to what you were saying, Antonio, which is the first 10 minutes of this, where we get to see the gang all back together, and it's fucking great. And we can't wait for their further adventures. And yet,
done.
Bullseye.
Oh boy, I was not expecting to see Foggy go. And he just, boom, right in the chest. Foggy Nelson, really? I was expecting Karen Page to get it, not Foggy Nelson. And you know what? She looks like a... But she's fine. I think the old show suffered a little bit when they would steer clear. They would like, we're going to do a Karen episode. We're going to do a Foggy episode. Nobody cares about Foggy.
I humbly disagree with you.
Do you really? Okay.
Yeah, I love those two characters. I just think they needed something more interesting than just regular intrigue. Like they needed meatier plots, basically.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's the
And yeah, like you, was expecting Karen Page to get shot, did, but was not expecting a death.
No, I was not expecting a death because I felt like that was because the original thing they had shot a lot of the show already, and Kevin Feige and company decided, nah, let's go back. And I thought, oh, they must have killed somebody, and then they decided, no,
Or maybe they decided we need more stakes right at the outset.
yeah,
We need somebody to go, and everybody loves Foggy.
everybody does love Foggy.
It's a bold move, and it fucking broke my heart.
I did like him as Foggy. I did like when I'd seen that guy in a couple things, and this was the first time I ever really liked him. I think he was in Butterfly Effect, right?
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got that teen comedy face.
yeah. If he was like teen comedy Philip Seymour Hoffman, but oh, sorry, but yeah, it was brutal to see him go. It really set the tone for what the show was and what was it gonna be and like the level of stakes. I guess I hate saying that, but yeah, the stakes are pretty high. But that scene, because it's just like all of a sudden the bullseye starts coming through there, and she's strapping, she's about to pop him, and it cuts the inside of the was it cut in the inside of the bar, and she bullseye just fly through the window, and then Daredevil show up. Just look, it's Daredevil.
Great scene. Another fucking fantastic fight.
Yeah, like I liked how like they cut from him swinging at him to like to the reaction. Like it was really clever editing, really good filmmaking. That fight was spectacular. And the way he just like unceremoniously throws him off the roof.
What a shot, by the way.
Yeah.
Forever, every movie from the 70s and 80s, which would have a building fall, we would always have to cut because airbags and say,
Airbags.
but thanks to digital technology, we get to watch Bullseye go off.
Splat. And okay, so like how does he survive that?
Well, they did that experimental surgery on him after Kingpin broke his back.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, there you go.
So
His performance is different than Colin Farrell for certain, but I do like it. It's very subdued. He is clearly a maniac, and Bullseye's a maniac.
yeah, and they need more of those in the MCU.
Yeah, I'm tired of noble villainy. Like, ugh, enough. Can they just be fucking evil?
Yeah, let's get to it. You can still be interesting and want to do nothing but destroy. You can give me a clever, not a clever, but a heartfelt backstory for that villain, and yet there's still a villain. They're
You know
still
the
doing bad
yeah,
shit.
the best villain. I still think the best villain they've had is the Red Skull. He was very criminally underused, and I know he didn't want to come back, but he was evil. The performance was fucking great. I don't know why they didn't just glue dots to his face and make him a CG skull if he didn't like wearing that makeup.
My understanding that he would have come back. They just didn't renew him. They just didn't use him again. And by the time they got to the final thing, it was just easier to use Ross Marquand because they were only going to have a limited interaction with the Red Skull anyway. So it just didn't make any sense. But the greatest missed opportunity is that we never got the Red Skull as he should have been portrayed in as far as the further adventures of Captain America, because we got 40s Red Skull and he was fucking perfect.
Yeah, and like, why couldn't we have gotten a Red Skull and the Masters of Evil? I always felt like they really dropped the ball by going hard on this multiverse shit. Okay, we're gonna get to Secret Wars finally, and Battle World and all that stuff, but we could have gotten there anyways. But they could have gone from after the Infinity stuff. The Masters of Evil were just right there. Red Skull, Loki, and like there's all these bad guys that team up. Zack Snyder fucked it up too with the Darkseid shit. And the DC, nobody cares about Darkseid. They just want to see the Legion of Doom. Nobody ever understands that's what they want to see the superheroes versus the army of supervillains, and we still have yet to get. But anyways, I
No, but
digress.
then Zack Snyder wouldn't have been able to have gods on Earth versus gods from space.
Oh, him. So he made such cool movies, but I think he got up his own butt a little bit. I don't know.
A lot bit.
I like admire 300 and Watchmen so very much. So I don't know.
Zack Snyder hates superheroes there.
Okay, maybe that was it. He apparently hated outer space people too.
He hates everything.
Yeah,
We all have to watch it.
that's too bad. I wish he'd make something like Conan.
I'm glad he didn't.
He would have been slow motion Conan.
Oh my God. So much dust. So much, so much particulate matter sailing through the air.
But man, I love 300.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. It's
But
questionable, but then the comic was also questionable.
yeah, it's clearly, you just have to go, okay, this is ancient Greek propaganda. But anyways, the Daredevil, that first episode was just fucking great. The heat scene between Daredevil and Kingpin, between Murdoch and Fisk is really cool. And I jumped ahead because when Fisk shows up at his wife's office in the storage unit, and he just goes, Vanessa. And then that clears out the room. It is Christopher Reeve as Superman. He is
Of all the MCU casting, it's the
Yeah.
one that's absolutely perfect.
maybe Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Chris Evans, Captain America.
Yeah. And RDJ is Tony Stark. But
Okay, there's a bunch, but in the villain scale, this is the perfect one.
But no, but those guys are all great casting, but it's even more. Because the Kingpin is almost the guy you couldn't have. I don't know. I'm just Marvel so much. I can't imagine anybody else playing that part right now. Gleason, Brendan Gleason, maybe.
He could have been a fine Kingpin.
Yeah, but
Right around Gangs of New York time.
yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio, there's so much perfection around his Kingpin, his delivery. Even just like I remember from the first episode, I saw him on the show and just started quoting him immediately. The man of the mask, and he sounds so cool. Like I had always thought, like that fancy Kingpin in the old Spider-Man show was pretty cool. Roscoe, what's the actor's name? He was on the Cosby Show. Roscoe Brown, very fine. I will crush Spun.
Oh yeah, that was a great Kingpin.
Yeah, and he leaned very much into the Sidney Greenstreet, because that's who Stanley. That's who they came up with. That's just Sidney Greenstreet. That was always King. Kids, Sidney Greenstreet was a character actor in the 40s and 50s, best known as the Heavy, because he was a very large guy in the Maltese.
And was parodied as Jabba the Hutt.
Yes, but Vincent D'Onofrio brings that energy, but brings a certain, I'm very fancy, but I grew up in the street and I killed my dad with my bare hands when I was 12. And I'll, in the comics, the best Kingpin in the comics was Garth Ennis Punisher series, where it was really grounded. Punisher was like 57 years old, 60 years old. It was a Vietnam vet. And the Kingpin in that killed his son in it. Like he just didn't care. Like he was just the most evil thing imaginable. And I think Vincent D'Onofrio brings that. But Vincent D'Onofrio makes him three-dimensional and still irredeemable. That's it. There's so much depth. Like he's just an asshole. There's nothing like, oh, I'm wounded inside and oh, I'm trying to bring balance like that. Fuck it. He's just evil gangster.
He wants power and he wants it all.
Yeah.
The city of New York specifically. It's an attainable goal. And it doesn't involve a light into the sky or blowing something up. Although that most likely will figure in by the end of this series. I mean, I'm quite certain. But Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, like how stoked was everyone when we heard he was even being cast in the part?
Yeah.
And he's been so consistently good. Did you watch Echo?
Yes, I did. I loved him in Echo.
I loved him in Echo. And I liked that series, actually.
I did too. I think it got a bum rap. I think any negativity it got is just because we are in this weird Earth 3 universe where everybody's gonna have a goatee now, like evil Spock. Like we're just in that timeline right now, and they did not want to see a disabled indigenous gal kick so much ass, I guess. And it's a crime because what a cool superhero. I really enjoyed the shit out of her. And the whole stuff with the Kingpin was cool. And he was running around in the white suit and he was fat and all that. Like, it was great.
Yep. Just doubling down on making him more and more complex as a character.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess people don't like the wokeness now. That show was cool. And I want to see more of her because I liked it. And I'm pleased that she got such a cool performance, a chance to.
Okay. The heat scene. I'm glad you described it as such because that was all that was on my mind when Kingpin and Daredevil sit down at a diner together. And here's what I thought while the scene is playing out. It's better than the heat scene.
Well, yeah, they go to that two shot more in this than they did in the heat scene.
Not only are we sure that our actors are in the same scene together in this sequence, but the writing is so good. The thing about the heat scene to me always was, yeah, it's De Niro, yeah, it's Pacino, and they're basically saying the most generic crime bullshit to each other. I'm going to stop you. No, you ain't going to stop me. I'm going to stop you. Okay.
I'm gonna bring you down.
I'm like you. You're like me. We're like each other. Oh, what a revelation. Michael Mann for the fucking thousandth time.
Well, we're complex middle-aged men.
Good Lord. But the writing here, the repartee, the jousting, and
The respect between these two characters that hate each other so much, but game recognizes game, and there's a certain camaraderie to their hate. It's and
like the
and
first thing he says to him, it's not unpleasant seeing you.
yeah, you bring my life, and I feel like these movies never get that. Like even in Batman: The Dark Knight, they say it, but
Right.
they don't you don't see it.
None of the Batman cinematic versions of the Joker have delivered because it's always a one-off story. And the Joker is as important to Batman as Alfred. You can't kill him. It's once the Joker's dead, the series is over.
Yeah, he's Batman's mirror. It's you need that balance to just it's Batman villains used to be they're under the impression that Batman villains is like the villain of the week, like on the old show. Oh, look, here's a new villain. They come back though, and they work better when they're integrated into Gotham. The Penguin worked started really working as a character when I was a kid in the comics when they gave him the nightclub and they gave him a permanent place to be, and all of a sudden he now was this information broker, and then before I knew it he was just ran the mob, and like it works so much better because it's a freak that took over the crime scene. The Scarecrow running the drugs is cool because it's this freak that took over the drugs.
And not just everything's fine in Gotham City. Oh no, the Penguin's back in town. Look out, the Riddler's on his way.
No, they're always there. The Riddler is some lunatic that no one's ever going to catch because no one knows where he is. He just lives online now. I liked that in the movie in the Batman, that he was just like this internet troll. But like these characters have to adapt, always adapt with them. And the cool thing, what I liked about this Daredevil thing is I like how it's adapted to. I was running for mayor. Did they have a crystal ball? Because I'm watching this is the most topical thing I've ever fucking seen.
You know what's funny? Remember when Lex Luthor became president?
Oh yeah.
I remember thinking at the time, like, I loved that for that character. That's where he was always going to be.
Yeah.
And we've only ever seen it on screen as a vision on Smallville with Rosenbaum in the white suit in the Oval Office. Oh my God, it was wonderful. Anyway,
The animated movie Public Enemies is delightful.
does that have President Luthor?
It's got Clancy Brown as President Luthor.
Oh, fuck. Okay, now I've got to watch.
And it's got Tim Daly and the late great Kevin Conroy. And Superman and Batman become America's Most Wanted.
Oh, that I never got around to watching.
Oh, it's on Max. Check it out. It's delightful. It is one of their better animated films. It's really fun. It's a buddy cop movie.
So the whole idea of President Luthor, as much as I loved it, I was always like, really though? I mean, he's been put away a bunch of times and the public aren't ever going to elect him president. Anyway, so yeah, so Wilson Fisk is running for mayor. Oh, and wins. He wins. Oh, and we've got a new character, the new love interest here, Margarita Lavivia. Okay, for Adventureland fans, Lisa P is back. Lisa P is back. She was in Adventureland as the sort of dream girl that everyone who works in the park lusts after.
I liked Adventureland.
I did too. And she was great in that because her character is kind of just a vain airhead. And I totally bought that. And then she showed up. She's the lead in The Deuce. She's the female lead on the HBO Max series, The Deuce, with James Franco.
Underrated show. I really enjoyed that. That show gave us Quinta Brunson.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And she was the lead on that. And she was fucking great in that.
Yeah.
And so every time she shows up anywhere, I'm stoked. So
that's her?
Yeah, man.
She's the girl that owned the...
She's the one going to college at the beginning, and she ends up being the lawyer at the very end. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's a good show. Oh, James Franco, why do you have to be such a scumbag? That was one of your better pieces.
Oh, Yeah, I'm gonna have to do an entire show about the Deuce.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's really good.
I think it's an important piece of television. It's for some people an important piece of American history. Honestly,
And its companion show Vinyl only lasted a series, only lasted a.
yeah, because it was garbage. You see that?
I
It
enjoyed it.
was okay. I enjoyed the Flights of Fancy, which you could tell were Scorsese's influence. Where like, hey, let's see Bo Diddley playing for fucking 2 minutes. Okay, that's cool.
I like Bobby Cannavale a lot. I just could always watch him just be, and I liked his little. I liked watching him. The show didn't really have a lot of direction, didn't really know where it was going, and I like Ray Romano as a. I really like him in that. I really loved him on that Get Shorty.
Oh, he was great. Yeah.
Yeah,
The problem for me with that series is, and the problem with most of American entertainment lately seems to be that all anyone learned from The Sopranos and Breaking Bad is that villains are cool. And
that's yeah, that's funny. Can I? Yeah,
please go ahead.
but that's hilarious. I shared this to my story today and on Instagram, a clip of Vince Gilligan saying that, hey, I'm in a room full of writers accepting a writing award. I think like probably a WGA thing. And he's maybe we should, I don't know, in light of the way the world is, maybe write some good guys. Maybe let's lay off writing the cool villains. Because now we've made these guys aspirational.
Exactly. We've humanized the horrible people, but we're not lionizing any of the decent people. And by the way, decent people can be just as complex and can have just as dark thoughts and be led down paths that they don't necessarily want to be and still be good in the end.
I think that makes Daredevil. This is a fine example of being able to do that because Daredevil is about, you know how every superhero universes there certain characters are uncorruptible. They're moral centered. Captain America is uncorruptible. Batman is uncorruptible. Daredevil is the most realistically uncorruptible character because he's corruptible. Like he crosses the line. He fucks up. He's really slutty. He does all of these. He does things that Batman does. As you can't get away with Batman. Like Batman, you can't like have him kill a guy and like remorse. Batman, you just can't kill a guy. Daredevil can accidentally kill a guy or can kill a guy and remorse about it and learn from it, and ultimately realize, no, I'm better than this and must do. You know what I mean? Like
He's very Catholic as
yeah,
will self-flagellate.
he was self-flagellate, but there's always redemption for me. You know what I mean? So like he's uncorruptible in a realistic way in the fact that he finds redemption when he screws up. I always found that in the comic. And on the show, he does that. He screws up all the time and he's always beating himself up about it, but always, I got to do better. I got to do better. Now he's fucked up beyond compare. Foggy's dead. What does he do now? Well, Kingpin's back in town. He's the fucking mayor. You're going to have to do something.
And boy, doesn't he. The plot so far this year, the writing is fucking sparkling.
Yeah.
Into that second episode where the investigation is continuing, the fucking final scene in episode 2, the fucking fight with the 2 corrupt cops is just about fucking perfect, man.
Yeah.
Like I could not ask for anything better. That it is brutal and awful and wonderful and that did what an action scene hasn't done for me in a while, got my heart pumping. Yeah, I wanted him to fuck those guys up.
What's great about the action on all the Daredevil shows is how claustrophobic it is. They're in enclosed spaces. Like you were so used to superheroes fighting out in the open. Like, good Lord, the Civil War, big superhero fight ever up to that point was at an airport. The fight in Endgame is on the lawn of the Avengers mansion. It's okay, he fights in hallways and stuff. And even a lot of the Batman fights are on rooftops and shit, but confined spaces and he's bashing dudes into walls. And I loved this scene because the guy's going to shoot him. And don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. Did he kill those guys?
Yeah, those guys are dead.
Those guys are dead.
And rightfully so. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so excited for the rest of this series.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like I'm setting myself up for a fall, but at the same time, I'm so hopeful that Marvel has learned its lessons with Phase 4. We're not just going to fucking line up anymore.
Here's my take on it. Like again, DC guy, very excited for the DC stuff ahead, and I feel like a lot of the mistakes that that's done or whatever is going to be that they'll probably rectify. I'm excited for the fact that look, just like comic books have different creative teams, the movies can have different creative teams. Like it looks like a different guy is drawing a Batman comic than the guy drawing the Justice League. So I'm excited for that. And I feel that Marvel has always been one thing. You know what I mean? It's just been this one thing all the way through. And when they expected us to show up for it, but I think they always hinged on what was going to happen next. What was going to happen next? What was going
Right.
to happen next?
They got way too up their ass about the interconnectedness of their universe. Yeah, everything felt like shoe leather to get us to something else.
It started feeling like homework, you know.
What White Tiger, who is a fucking like obscure character.
Yeah.
70s, man. He was in one of the Kung Fu comics. He shows up in episode 2 of this new Daredevil. And honestly, Tony, for 5 or 10 minutes, I was racking my brain. Where did he show up earlier? What did I miss? Because that's how the MCU is now. And by the way, I love that it is that. I love that it's that confusing. It's just that each piece of entertainment shouldn't be geared just to confuse us further or just to further cement mythology.
Well, that's by the time I got to Black Widow and the Inhumans, it's just, oh God, I don't lose track. And I'm just like not enjoying these as films. I'm just like, oh, I gotta watch. Even Shang-Chi, which was a breath of fresh air a little bit, still felt a little bit. Okay, so, yeah, because this guy, the 10 Rings, how did this connect to the terrorists and Iron Man? And oh boy, I don't know. They also haven't been, and they've been looser too. I don't know. Maybe that's why they haven't been successful. I can't put my finger.
In the cases of, say, Ant-Man and Thor, I think they started trusting those filmmakers and just went, go do whatever you want.
Yeah, because Thor, Love and Thunder, terrible title, has some cool ideas in it.
Some great ideas in it.
And then but there's so much cocaine going through that movie. I feel like Taika Waititi was having like 3-ways with Tessa Thompson and Rita Ora, wherever his wife is, and doing rails of blow off their butts while he was writing the script. And God bless him, because I got that JoJo rap. But wow, this was out of control, that movie.
It was all tired jokes. Like
it was all these
tired visual gags.
And I say the cocaine because there was so much going on. There were so many ideas in that, and so many different tones. You've got Christian Bale, for God's sakes,
as the God Killer. Speaking of the complex Marvel villains, that guy, that character in that light comedy deserved his own better movie.
And you give me Thor and Hercules in this kind of half-assed kind of way,
and they get Brett Goldstein as fucking Hercules. And you give us him in a fucking cutscene at the end? Cutscene?
A post scene? Yeah, cutscene, really.
I've been playing a lot of video games.
But was he wearing like a muscle suit, or was he
No,
he's a big dude, right?
Yeah, particularly at that time, because that was in the midst of the Ted Lasso series. So you got to figure he was in top form.
It's a weird casting of Hercules. I want to see more of it though. Like Marvel Hercules is a delightful fucking character. He's just obnoxiously party boy, like a bisexual mess of a guy.
Marvel needs to figure out that we've seen all this shit happen on Earth already. And could you give us more cosmic? Could you give us more horror? Can I say that again? Could you give us some horror beyond Werewolf by Night? Something actually scary? That'd be fucking fantastic.
The hour-long Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, and how about, since you fucking opened the door, let's get into the gods and the goddesses now.
I liked Werewolf too.
I did too.
I liked I don't know why they released it in color. That was just, I hated that. I liked the black and white. It was cool.
I feel exactly the opposite. I didn't like it when I watched it the first time. And then when they were like, hey, special thing, watch it in color. I was like, oh, I get it now. It's fucking, it's lit beautifully. The colors are fantastic. I'm like, I get what they
It's got Man-Thing in it.
Yeah, Marvel panicked and were just like, do something, make it black and white. Well, it's like a throwback to the old Universal horror. Yeah, quick, do something, anything. And I was just like, it's just a trifle. It's just supposed to be like a Halloween special, because I liked it, a lot of it. Like, I liked the tone of it, and I thought he did a good job directing.
Yeah, so did I. I liked. I enjoyed
The
it.
script was the failure there. It just wasn't. It just didn't add up. You know what I mean?
Did you like?
Because we meet all of our characters in the middle of everything. We didn't get to know anybody.
Did you like Agatha?
I did
Yeah,
a
I liked
great
Agatha
deal.
too. I was. Can I tell you how surprised how much I liked Agatha?
I had written it off from the moment they
Yeah,
announced.
I mean, the only thing wrong with Agatha was that they could have used more Patty LuPone.
Yeah. Well, that's everything.
Yeah, and I love Audrey Plaza.
Yeah. Aubrey.
Aubrey, yeah, I was right. I adore her. She's like a cat. She has a cat's personality that's kind of really dry, really sarcastic. And when she showed up as Death, it was so cool. And I liked that they did the makeup different than the comics because Death in the comics is like it looks like Two-Face with a
Right.
skull. And this one they did the mouth was skeletal and her eyes, but it worked better.
It worked great.
Because you still get those, you know what I mean? She's got those beautiful, and like to rob any of it of us, it really worked. I thought it was cool. I was impressed at how gay it was. Like it was super gay.
Oh, yeah.
Kudos for Marvel and Disney for actually bucking the trend and being all right with that. Like I said, it really worked. Catherine Hahn really can lead something, and it's a shame she doesn't get to lead more shit.
Speaking of sort of the complexity, when they get it right, they get it right. The last episode of Agatha All Along takes place. It takes place after the series, and all it is a flashback showing how fucking horrible Agatha Harkness was. Oh,
Yeah.
that was amazing. What a way to wrap up. By the way, just so you know, the person you were following and cheering along is a fucking horrible human.
Yeah, that was a really neat kind of 70s ending to it almost. I enjoyed that. So I take it she's not going to be Franklin Richards' babysitter, though.
Why not? If
Like,
different timeline we're starting in, then she should be there.
yeah. I'm excited for that Fantastic Four. I really enjoyed that trailer. I always wanted to set it in the 60s somehow.
Totally. That's
I remember
every fan has been yelling that for
Yeah.
years. Thank God they finally did it.
I remember when Chris Columbus was attached to it, he wanted to do it like that or something.
Yeah.
And like his take was A Hard Day's Night with the Fantastic Four. And I always really liked that.
Could have worked.
The cast is great. That Thing looks amazing. That Thing looks amazing.
Amazing.
That looks like Jack Cooper drew it. I can't believe how good he looks, man. He's even got that fucking those eyebrows sticking out. Yeah, okay. Reed Richards has a mustache, but I'll be fine with that because I know what's his name is going to play him like autistic and like kind of weird and but on the surface masking really well. Like I know Pedro is such a good actor that there's going to be like 4 levels going on with Reed Richards. I'm very excited.
Were you a fan of the Venture Brothers?
Oh god.
Their take on Mr. Fantastic with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, I think they could have cast Stephen Colbert as Mr. Fantastic, and I would have been just fine.
Me too.
I love the Venture Brothers, fucking Doc Hammer. Oh my god, what's the and Jackson Public? That show, we could just do a podcast on that whole show. That show was the Freddie Mercury as Mr. Fahrenheit, the Supersonic Man.
Oh, and Secret Agent David Bowie.
Oh my! David Bowie is like the leader of the what is it? The Villains Council, whatever it was, the Guild of Calamitous Intent. And I liked on that show how they do the storytelling off camera. Like they would just jump, new shit's happening in this episode. You got to piece it together, and that was really clever filmmaking because they had a limited budget, they had a limited amount of time to do what they do, so they just
Those
the audience work. Yeah.
Those scripts are fucking phenomenal. Everyone got obsessed with the sort of blender of pop culture. Like everything became reference to this and reference to that. And here was something looking so far back and yet pulling everything of the past 70 years of pop culture and all the weirdo shit that we've all been obsessed with and doing it correctly. I don't know. I stand in awe of the Venture Brothers as a series.
Yeah, every episode of that is just a little gem to like there's so much you can pack in there. Like the G.I. Joe stuff is great. The fact that Brock Sampson's boss is Raoul Duke. But it's not only referencing Hunter S. Thompson, it's also referencing Doonesbury at the same time. That's some really clever, right? It makes the audience really actively participate in it. I feel a lot of what Rick and Morty is doing now is coming from what they were doing on
1,000%.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They didn't do it. They did their Spider-Man parody was hilarious with the shooting the webs out of
Oh,
his
yeah.
ass. Yeah. Which brings us back to Daredevil, where the Kingpin is giving his mayor speech, and he says, "We don't have to deal with guys with skulls on their chest or dudes in spider costumes." I'm like, "Oh, Sony won't let you say Spider-Man." But who are the vigilantes working time? So you get that White Tiger guy.
Yeah, now he's going to be our main case for this,
Yeah.
right?
The Punisher's obviously running around still.
He
Um,
should be in
Spider
soon.
Spider-Man is in town. He's not going to be on the show, but he's definitely living in the city.
Luke Cage
Anybody?
is still out there. Jessica
Luke
Jones is
Cage.
still out there.
Yeah. I would like to see Luke Cage return. I enjoyed the Luke Cage show a lot.
Me too,
Um,
man.
I would have liked to have seen more of it because it ended on a cliffhanger.
That's right.
It just ended with him in charge of Harlem as the mob boss. I want to see that Luke Cage fly to Latveria and get his $200 from Robert Downey. So, do you think Robert Downey Jr. we're going to see that face, or is it just going to be that mask?
It's going to be the mask.
I heard he's really into it. So,
I hope so. I hope he does a good job because Doctor Doom is he's the missing link in the MCU as far as I'm concerned.
and I hope he's just not a one-off. I hope that he's a presence because I mean, yeah, like how much work is it for Robert Downey Jr. to show up and hang out on set for the day?
Well, this is a lateral move. This was supposed to be, what's his name? Kang the Conqueror.
Right.
They had been laying the groundwork for Kang pretty fucking hardcore all through phase 4 and then had to immediately wrap it up in Quantumania.
Quantumania is terrible too.
Was it Quantumania they wrapped it? No, they wrapped it up in Loki.
And I thought Loki was.
I like the end of Loki.
I like the end of Loki, yeah, but I just thought I hate Loki. I don't hate Loki. I love the actor, I love the performance, but I hate the storm shadowing of him. I hate like when they take a bad guy that's so popular, they got to make him a hero now.
I'll buy
I
that.
really like him as a villain. Fuck it, we didn't have him as a villain long. And I know people love the arc thing with him, and a certain population of girls love him. And okay, but I wanted more.
That's true. Can't flip our villains that quickly.
And
Or
I
at least flip them back because they do that too.
yeah, they do. I did what I did like in that first season of Loki was I liked Richard E. Grant
Oh, fantastic.
as real Loki. I just love that guy's delivery so much. It's so dry. So let's talk real quick. Let's talk about Daredevil himself and how good he is.
What are we talking about?
Charlie Cox is Daredevil, man.
It's so funny when we were starting the show. I was like, every time we brought up something, I was like, we got to start talking about Charlie Cox, though. So I'm glad we're wrapping up with Charlie Cox.
Like like him and D'Onofrio have such great chemistry. And you can tell they really like working to each other and they really know how to play. Charlie Cox does a lot of good things. I notice he plays the blind guy really, really.
Everyone is so preoccupied with staring off in everywhere where they're not supposed to be looking, basically.
Yeah.
And that's just not how blind people are. It's a natural performance for once.
Yeah, it's very natural. He's not overdoing it. He's really tortured, and you see it on his face. You see it, you hear it in his voice. Yeah, I like it's a really good performance, man. And
Just the way his posture changes,
yeah,
you can tell what that guy's all about at that moment.
and you see it at the end of that last episode where he becomes Daredevil, even without the suit. He becomes Daredevil in that moment.
If you're a fan of Mr. Cox and have not yet watched Boardwalk Empire, also on HBO, you should probably go do that because he's in that first season and he's fucking great.
And he's also stars in Stardust.
I've never seen Stardust.
It's cute. It's delightful.
Neil
He's
Gaiman.
very charming. Yeah. Gaiman is, oh boy, huh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did not see that in the cards.
And like I keep trying to my friends like, so what did he do? And I'm
Real
just
bad
reading
shit.
really bad stuff. I'm like, well, he had this groupie thing, and he's that's not so bad. Yeah, and he held her against her will, and I'm like, yeah, read the article.
The fucking absolute insanity of it is you can't tell me that there weren't groupies just willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
Why do you have to find the one who doesn't and prey upon that, you fucking dickhead? You had everything. He had legions of fans all praising him as a fucking god. I remember at a fucking in Comic-Con, the first Comic-Con I went to was in 1993. And it was an insane party atmosphere. And the biggest ticket was Neil Gaiman was going to be doing a reading from one of his books, like this after hours kind of thing. And every fucking girl at Comic-Con was trying to get there. And that in my mind, like, so I think about that when I think about like all of these people who wanted to throw themselves at him, and that wasn't good enough. Fuck you,
like
Nick.
I remember the certain brand of girl that I was in love with when I was in high school and in early college, 19 years. I could only commute. I was a comic book nerd, but I could tell I could talk Sandman with her. That you know what I mean? It was the one comic book every girl knew that I liked. Every arty kind of girl that I liked back then. My high school, my college girlfriend or whatever. Sure. I know Sandman. Oh, let me draw you his death. Oh my goodness. That was part of my very limited game back then. Those Sandman comics meant the world to me, man.
Me too. They were formative.
Yes. I remember that Midsummer Night's Dream issue when I was performing in like the one act of the Pyramus and Thisbe thing as a one act and just connecting to Shakespeare and comic book, the stage and storytelling.
And the depth of mythology throughout the world and how it's relevant for all of us and how ill-informed we are about all of the cultures that dot the globe.
And now you find out he's just as shitty as Zeus or any of these other gods he's about. Just what a heartbreaker. Thanks for shitting on my adolescence, buddy.
Fuck you, Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, fuck you, pal. Man, fuck you know how many I have terrible ADHD but I can get through his novels. Motherfucker. I'm just gonna say, Terry Pratchett wrote good of it.
There you go. Looking forward to that next season of fucking Sandman.
Yeah, oh my.
And that was Devils season 4, Born Again. It's fucking fantastic.
You know what? I can't wait for the Punisher to show up again. I can't wait for Bullseye to get out of jail and see if he comes on with some kind of costume that looks something like he wore in the books. I'm looking forward to that showdown. I'm praying we get some kind of Elektra. Did she die again at the end of...
The building crushed everybody, or rather her and Daredevil, but then he somehow mysteriously escaped. But I don't think they found her body or anything. So yeah. Elektra's of the type to always come back.
Yeah.
Just whether or not she will. I'm guessing season 2 of this current iteration of the series, she's probably going to come back.
I don't know what's up for Karen Page. I feel like she is just a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, can't they just, those two get along for a little while? Can't they grieve together? That's Matt Murdock's ultimate problem, is he has to grieve alone.
And he grieves by beating up people. But
we've got your number.
I mean, go to church, dude. You're Catholic.
Yeah, go confess or pray or something.
You should just be like, I crossed the line. Oh, yeah, okay, but, Bullseye, he deserved it. And that guy's a crooked cop. That guy, that one crooked cop, he's a crooked cop on Mayor of Kingstown, too.
He's got a type.
He's got a type.
Or he is a type.
I'm super excited for the rest of the season. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it because I was jazzed watching these episodes. I was like, oh my God, that first episode, that fight with Daredevil and Bullseye was so gangster.
So
it was just
many knives stuck into
it.
Fucking horrible. He was a fucking pincushion by the end.
But just really, it gives you that costume vigilante. Like it really lets you know this is what it's like to be a superhero when you're not Iron Man.
Yeah, for the rest of us, this is what it looks like.
Yeah,
it's
he's a lawyer, but broke lawyer in New York. Come on.
He will snap your arm in two lovingly. That was brutal, man. That was brutal. Daredevil, Born Again, everybody. Go watch it. I don't think we can endorse it or recommend it rather any more than possible. I'm hoping that they fucking continue, man.
Yeah, so do I, man. Daredevil is just really cool, man. I loved those comics. I read them. The John Romita was drawing it when I was reading it. And I remember going back and reading the Frank Miller ones and remember excited when the Kevin Smith and Joe Quesada ones came out. But the art was amazing.
The art was really good. I agree.
And this show really just captures that comic. It captures it. It's one of the better superhero adaptations out there. If you get a chance, go watch them.
If people are trying to find you online, Antonio, where can they do so?
You know what? You can find my company, Swamp Media Group, at swampmediagroup.com. and on Instagram at Swamp Media Group.
As for me, if you're looking for me on a social, it's just at Father Malone. If you want to get in touch with me directly, but Father Malone71 at gmail.com. And of course, if you want to support the show in any way financially, head on over to patreon.com/Father Malone. Patron subscribers get episodes early and commercial free, and you get a bonus series. Apparently, I'm going to end up doing one about the Deuce. Until next time, I'm going to leave you with a bit from one of the Daredevil movies. Maybe it's a funny line. Maybe it's a poignant line. You'll just have to listen right now.
You can build a prison of stone and steel, but you merely present the prisoner with a challenge. Any truly determined man will find a way out. Love is the perfect prison. Inescapable. So you see, Agent Nadim, I am always in prison, wherever I go. And if these things help me protect Vanessa, then they are nothing to me.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.